in investigating karmic connections through a number of earthly lives, it is no great help to look at the particularly outstanding characteristics. What strikes you most forcibly in a man, what you see at once when you meet him or learn of him in history, these characteristics are, for the most part, the outcome of his earthly environment. A man, as he confronts us, is a product of his earthly environment to a far greater extent than is generally believed. He takes in through education what is present in his earthly environment. It is the more intangible, more intimate traits of a man which, taken quite concretely, lead back through the life between death and a new birth into former earthly lives. In these investigations, it may be more important to observe a man's gestures or some habitual mannerism than to consider what he has achieved, perhaps, as a figure of renown. The mannerisms of a person, or the way he will invariably answer you, not so much what he answers, but how he answers. Whether, for example, his first tendency is always to be negative, and only when he has no other alternative to agree, or whether again, in quite a good-humored way, he is rather boastful. These are the kind of traits that are important, and if we pay special attention to them, they become the center of our observations and disclose a great deal. One observes, for instance, how a man stretches out his hand to take hold of things. One makes an objective picture of it, and then works upon it in the manner of an artist. And at length one finds that it is no longer the mere gesture that one is contemplating, but around the gesture, the figure of another human being takes shape. The following may happen. There are men who have a habit, let us say, of making a certain movement of the arms. I have known men who simply could not begin to do anything without first folding their arms. If one visualizes such a gesture quite objectively, but with inner artistic feeling, so that it stands before one as a plastic, pliable form, then one's attention is directed away from the man who is actually making the gesture. But the gesture does not remain as it is. It grows into another figure, which is an indication, at least, of something in the previous incarnation or in the one before that. It may well be that the gesture is now used in connection with something that was not present at all in the previous incarnation. Let us say it is a gesture used in picking up a book or some similar action. Nevertheless, it is for gestures and habits of this kind that we must have an eye if we are to keep on the right track.